I was thinking about filming this and releasing this video tomorrow because I've had a busy day. I've had a crazy day, but I want to get ahead of Steven Larson at Friendo Club Wrestling. I want them to be those other guys when it comes to the review of King and Queen of the Ring PLE that took place earlier today on May 25th. So let's hop into my review of the show. So to kick us off, I'm going to skip over the pre-show and go right into the opener for the main card, which was Becky Lynch defending her WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Liv Morgan. And this match was all right. It was fine. I really would have just preferred Liv Morgan to just win straight up and beat Becky Lynch and kind of give her this dominant victory over an established legend, like living legend, and somebody who can take a loss here and there like she did to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania and Becky Lynch. And I do like the story that they're telling with Dom trying to keep Liv from winning Mommy's title. But here's the thing, guys. At the end of the day, Liv Morgan is just going to hold on to that title until Mommy comes back, until Rhea returns, and then Rhea's probably going to destroy her. I hope that doesn't happen. Maybe they will surprise us. Maybe they're actually working towards Dom aligning with Liv to screw over Rhea, which would be interesting. But all that being said, I am very happy that Liv won the title. I give this one 3.5 stars. It was fun, and it was really nice to see Liv pick up the title. It wasn't a masterclass or an instant classic of wrestling. However, it did what it needed to in terms of the story. The wrestling was very serviceable. You have two really great workers in there. And I am curious to see what happens until Rhea comes back and maintaining this story and keeping it alive, especially with the whole Dom and Liv stuff and the Judgment Day and how like Finn, JD, Damian will all factor into that as well. After that, we have the triple threat for the IC title between Sammy, Bronson, and Chad Gable. And like I predicted, Otis cost Chad the victory. I think this is just prolonging the inevitable in which Chad is going to turn on Alpha Academy and align himself with the Creed brothers and possibly Ivy Nile, which I would be all for that. Just kind of build some legitimacy around a faction for Chad Gable. I think we are working towards him just being, like, he already is the new Kurt Angle, but just really legitimizing him in this, like, Team Gable approach of a faction. But I am glad that Sammy holds on to the title for a little bit longer because I do want to see Chad win that title in a one-on-one contest. I think this is what he deserves. He needs the crowning moment, and he doesn't need to earn it through beating a third party to this story between him and Sammy. I want to see him beat Sammy, whether by hook or crook or just clean. I'm good either way because Chad is long overdue for a single title run. Oh, and I guess I should say that match was 4 stars. It's up there for match of the night, but there's one that I would put on par with it, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Next up, we have Queen of the Ring between Nia Jax and Lyra Valkyria. I really don't agree with Nia Jax being Queen of the Ring. I know they're doing it because they want to push her to probably be the monster heel to take the title from Bayley at SummerSlam. But it's unfortunate because you had an opportunity to build up Lyra Valkyria to be like this world beater and really just establish her as the next big star in the women's division. And this match, I don't think accomplished that. Even, you know, you can accomplish it with the loss, but I don't think it was accomplished. I give this match 2 stars. It was a whatever match, not very good. I think the highlight was Nia just sitting on Lyra as Lyra was trying to powerbomb her off the middle rope, and she just squashed her. That was a great moment, a great finish. But overall, this match was definitely the weakest match on the whole card, and probably the weakest match. I don't know if it's the weakest match of the whole Queen of the Ring tournament, but in terms of like all the options you had at your disposal in terms of matchups, this is probably the worst possible matchup that could have come out of the whole tournament for the finals. So I give it 2 stars. All right, and then we head into King of the Ring, Gunther versus Randy Orton. This one felt a little underwhelming. I give it 3 3/4 stars, just shy of 4. And I think a big part of that is the botched finish with Randy's shoulder clearly up. It sounds like, based on what Triple H said when he was asked about it afterwards, that it might have been for storyline purposes. Like, it might have been part of the plan. And at the same time, like, I don't know, it just was awkward. There was some there was some just pacing issues with the whole match. There's a lot of repeat spots. And I think it kind of delegitimizes Gunther just a little bit in that he wasn't able to put Randy away on his own, which I think is the biggest issue overall. So, well, not that he couldn't put him away on his own, but that he couldn't put him away with like a finish, right? And so that's a problem, doing a crucifix pin. So I give it 3 3/4 stars, but I am excited to see Gunther be the next contender for the world title. In the main event spot, we had Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Undisputed Championship against Logan Paul, which, by the way, can we just change the name of that to just the straight up WWE Championship? It is disputed because we have a World Heavyweight Champion. That's neither here nor there, though. I would like to say, first and foremost, Logan Paul, for all of his fallible nature in terms of just being, from everything you read and see and hear, not a great human being. He's a great wrestler, and so I got to give him his flowers in that regard. This match, similar to Gunther versus Randy Orton, underwhelmed for me a little bit, and I think that's just the story of this show. It was just underwhelming. It was just there. It was a fine pay-per-view or PLE, but it wasn't. I think it was the weakest PLE of the year from a WWE main card perspective so far, or main roster perspective, and that says a lot. That if this was your weakest show, you've been putting on some banger shows all year. The crowd was great, and they were really into Cody, and they were really into booing Logan. Obviously, there was a lot of shenanigans at play because, number one, it's a Cody Rhodes match. Number two, it's a Logan Paul match. So combine those two worlds, and you're just going to get a whole lot of shenanigans all the way throughout the match. But all that being said, I think it was decent for these two guys. I give it 4 stars. I think what held it back a little bit is there's a definite flow to a Cody match, a definite flow to Logan's matches, and it felt kind of awkward. There was definitely some communication issues throughout the match. It left you wanting more because it felt like it didn't quite hit the 5th gear. And then also on top of all that, it was, I said this in my prediction video, and I don't mind that it's predictable because I prefer predictability over a dusty finish where there's a schmoz or a DQ, right? Like, I don't want to end a show, especially a world title match, on a DQ or a count out to protect anybody. At the same time, the predictable nature of the match just permeated throughout the entire structure of the match. So it wasn't even just the finish that was predictable, it was the way the match was set up. I will give Cody some credit. That dude can sell. He made me believe he broke a rib. Maybe he did, but he's a warrior. He's a fighter. He got through it. Cody Cutter on the table was really cool. Again, a little awkward. It kind of turned into a stunner layout, but at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes was the right call to retain that championship. I give it 4 stars, tied for match of the night. If I had to go one direction, I would probably say that the triple threat I liked a little bit more, only because looking at that match, it's continuing to tell a story. Logan versus Cody's over from every reasonable perspective. It's got to be done at this point, and then Cody's just going to move on to his next feud. I do think we're going to have Orton versus Cody eventually, which is kind of the feud that everybody wants to see, and I would love to see Orton get his next world title off of Cody. That'd be great, but I think we're going to keep the title on Cody until The Rock comes back, potentially Roman as well. But I think he's going to be involved in the whole Bloodline 2.0 versus OG Bloodline storyline. We'll see what happens. All that being said, Cody Rhodes, great world champ. Everybody's saying he's boring. I highly disagree. He had a banger with AJ Styles. He had a really solid matchup here with Logan Paul. And then also he's had some great TV matches as well. And he's a constant champ who shows up, and I appreciate that. So overall, 4 stars. All right, guys, that's my review for the show. Like I said, the crowd was great. This is probably the weakest, and I use that term very loosely because this wasn't a weak show. I want to be very clear. But it's the weakest PLE so far this year for WWE main roster, which, Hunter, keep it up. You're doing a great job, man. This is just indicative of the future, and I love it, and I can't wait for Clash at the Castle when they announce Drew McIntyre is getting the World Championship match against Damian Priest. Drew's got to win. He's got to win, and he's got to take the title to SummerSlam, and Gunther's got to take the title from Drew McIntyre. Punk screws him over. Maybe they have Punk versus McIntyre at Bash at Berlin. I don't know. We'll see. Do we get Dragunov versus Gunther at Bash at Berlin? That'd be great too. All right, guys, make sure you like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Comment down below your ratings for the pay-per-view and all of the matches, and I will see you very soon.